watched a couple of movies, and the combined effect of them is going to force me to make a few comments. The first movie was The Martian, Matt Damon taking his turn as the legendary castaway Robinson Crusoe with the modern spin that this drama plays out in space. There were a number of head-scratchers in this story. I'm positive that people who are knowledgeable about such things are having a field day picking this movie apart. More casual observers like me just shrug and accept with a tiny tick of skepticism many of the events that take place. Damon plays a botanist. I'm not sure what a botanist is doing on Mars. He's left behind when the crew has to leave because of a violent storm that is threatening to destroy their equipment and spaceship. They think Damon was killed by hurtling debris. He is injured, stabbed by a wire. The thinking there is that the wire and his blood sealed the puncture in his suit and allowed him to survive. He's resourceful and determined to live. He plants potatoes using his waste as fertilizer in Martian soil. Inside a sealed structure on Mars, there's enough sunlight to grow potatoes? He makes water by burning some fuel, releasing hydrogen, which combines with a limitless supply of oxygen, which comes from I don't know where, and generates enough water to grow the potatoes and keep himself hydrated. Another big storm destroys his shelter and cracks his helmet. He fixes it with duct tape. No one is a bigger fan of duct tape than I am, but I don't know if it's an airtight answer in space. There are lots of these tricks in the movie, but none of them troubled me as much as the central, pivotal plot point. When the launch crew on Earth learns that he is alive, they are committed to doing whatever it takes to retrieve him. No expense of money or labor is too much. When their only available rocket explodes during a rescue attempt, China steps forward and offers another rocket. Members of the original crew agree to give up nearly 2 years of their lives to cycle back to Mars to save him. Because of social media, the entire world stops in a breathless pause as his highly problematic and dangerous rescue is attempted. When it succeeds, the whole world, united as never before, cheers for this man. It's heartening to witness a story that celebrates the value of a human life. I'm not sure if it's more a Tinseltown fairy tale than reality. Milan Kundera wrote that the era of the individual protagonist is over. Also, at the end, Damon is teaching others about survival. He says it's a matter of solving problems. You keep doing it and eventually you overcome the threat, which is nice, but the truth is that sometimes, no matter how tough or bright you are, circumstances prevail and you die. The second movie, Eye in the Sky, featured phenomenal modern surveillance with drones, satellites, lasers, miniature cameras, and fantastic mechanical bugs. 3 terrorists are located, positively identified, and 2 suicide bombers are seen donning their explosive vests. The military people are all for sending in a missile without delay. The political agents are not so sure. They're worried about a little girl who is selling bread on the street just outside the compound. When the missile explodes, she will probably be killed. The soldiers argue that the suicide bombers are going to kill hundreds of people if they're not eliminated. We don't know if they will be successful, the politicians argue. And one of them says, I would rather hear that terrorists killed 100 civilians than have to live with the news that, in preventing a suspected attack, we killed a little girl. Again, it's comforting to hear that we are the ones who value each and every life, and the enemy are the exact opposite, seeking to kill as many civilians as possible. And it's true that yesterday a gunman murdered many people in a club in Istanbul, and more were killed in Brazil. If we adhere to what is called the rules of engagement while fighting a war, it is difficult to see how we can defeat an enemy who ignores and exploits those rules to their advantage. In the movie, the missile was sent after great debate. The terrorists are killed and the little girl dies. The soldiers have to bear her murder. The question for me is, can the individual survive if the entire world is at war? No, it's impossible. Individual value is the first victim in that war.